Somebody shut that off.
Play ball! Blue 22! Hike, hike, hike.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Wow. Sorry about that, a little bit of a delay. Somebody's shut. I'm guessing one of my chillins messed with my soundboard a little bit because the EQs were all jacked up. And I didn't notice it until I hit play and nothing played.
Yes, my youngest does it.
All right.
He's a dick.
So, he is not. He comes down. He's the happiest person on the face of the earth.
He's a good boy. I got him doing this thing, wrestling now. So like, we'll wrestle on the bed, and all I have to say to him is "sell," so that I'll hit him with a fake punch, and he sells. He does a sell job.
Oh
and
my
he will,
god!
Like flop on the bed and then kind of like flop around. It's great.
That is awesome.
I'm like, you are daddy's little boy, man.
You have him.
What?
Oh, that's awesome.
What a sell job.
That's amazing. That's
wow.
Cool.
I'm looking at myself on camera. I think I've gotten some color since all that. Well, I've been out in the pool a lot, as I was telling you. So
I'm getting quite the farmer's tan. I don't know if you can really notice, but
it's
kinda
hard.
Tough
it's hard to
lighting.
tell. Yeah, the lighting. It's too bright.
It's too bright in here. I got too much. I got this thing on me right here.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a funky angle. Yeah. Could actually see those lights in your reflecting off of your glasses. It's pretty funny. That's actually pretty funny.
That's why I have it above my head.
That's good.
So let's see what we got here. I'm gonna go post this on the page. In the meantime, this is Sports and Sorts. I'm Shane. I'm one of your hosts.
I'm the Bry Man.
And we are going to be talking about several things today. We got Karen of the Week. That's going to be later today.
This is a special Karen of the Week too.
I'm excited.
It's not just a Karen,
and it's not typically something we would do on a Monday too. So I'm very anxious to see what this Karen of the Week was.
Yeah, and I apologize if it was from the week before last, but I don't think we did. We didn't do a show Friday. I would have done this on Friday if we had. So it's a little bit delayed, but it's totally worthy though. She's totally worthy.
I'm anxious to see what this is all about. So we're going to be talking about that. Kanye West puts in his 2020 bid. I have my reasoning why that's happening. I know. A lot of people are a lot more
on the same page.
A lot of people are very nervous about it. I am a little more.
I
think a little more naive. But I think it's pretty crazy. There's also we have the.
It is not Painter Nicole.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
So
it's a little late. I'm a little late to the party with this one, so I'm going to apologize.
So we have that. We have Trevor Bauer trolling. We have, or as Bry Man calls him, a hero.
I mean, look, first of all, let me just say, I love Cincinnati Reds jerseys to begin with, so it is possible that I could end up getting a Trevor Bauer jersey. And I would have never thought that because I've never
he's
really
such a
liked
weirdo.
him. He's a weirdo. He's quirky.
He's a jerk sometimes, yeah.
He's definitely, But you know what? He may have reached hero status for me this past on July 3rd.
So we have that.
He's troll level 80. He's in the high 80s, maybe higher.
And we're also going to be going into should sports just pack it in. That was one of the things that the Bry Man put on any list, and we are going to talk about that because I have my philosophy and reasoning and opinion about it. I have some other issues too that with baseball.
I'm mad at baseball.
I'm mad at baseball for not certain reasons. I mean, obviously you've seen pictures of Mike Trout running the bases with the mask on. He's a beast of an athlete. And there's certain people that are out there that are being very, very precautious. And there's other things that, obviously as a Yankee fan, you saw Tanaka take one off the head. And of
course, who did it?
The Stanton curse continues. And that's something that I want to talk about a little bit too. And we can probably get that into very soon. I want you to talk about. Let's get into sports. We'll start sports. And I want to get into this whole Trevor Bauer thing because that's something that you wanted to talk about. You're very kind of excited about it. I'm going to post the picture and I'll put it over my head while I make a post onto the Facebook page to let people know that we're out there. But if you haven't already, go ahead and obliterate that like button. Kill that notification bell. And follow us. And
smash the like button.
No, smash is old. You can't say smash anymore.
Can't say smash.
Smash is old. You got to say obliterate or annihilate.
Annihilate that.
Annihilate.
How about
like
decimate?
Button.
Decimate the like button.
All right.
Blow it up.
So here is the picture that the Bry Man is so happy about. And
It's
boom.
It's just such a nice little Easter egg buried inside of this Trevor Bauer tweet. This was from July 3rd at 5:52 p.m. Eastern time. Trevor Bauer on his Twitter page posted, "Baseball's back, everyone. Intake testing done. Lots of really high-tech stuff going on here, but anything to help us win is in, right?" And then, of course, as you look at the picture, tremendous T-shirt that Trevor Bauer is sporting here. You can see he's in the Reds locker room. He's got his jersey with his number, name, positioned perfectly behind him with his Reds hat on the hanger. And I love, first of all, I love that he's wearing a mask there. He's got the mask with the dog on it. And then, but let's just zoom in on that T-shirt. Trash Town. Mm-hmm. Houston cheated 2017 chumps. And it's got the World Series trophy. The lovely, beautiful Commissioner's Trophy sitting on top of a trash can. Houston cheated 2017 chumps. And just like that, just like a Thanos snap, I became an instant Trevor Bauer fan. And look, I've never been a huge Trevor Bauer guy. We've already said it. He's a little bit out there. He's weird. He's, maybe the light's on and nobody's home. I don't even know. And I've observed him in person in the wild too, when I was at the All-Star game a couple of years ago in Washington, D.C. And I'll never forget him just standing out there in the outfield. Mm-hmm. And he's by himself. Nobody went and talked to him. And he's got one of those like GoPro cams on his head.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there like, he's talking with fans, but he was definitely a loner. Like no other players went and spoke to him. He was on an island. And I remember my brother and I looking out there and feeling like, wow, like nobody wants to go near Trevor Bauer. What the hell's wrong with him? And I mean, look, you know what though? You gotta give him. I mean, of course, Houston Astro fans are going to trash him, but does anybody really care what a Houston Astro fan says right now? I mean, I could not care less what a Houston Astros fan has to say at this point in time.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, man, that's a great shirt. I don't know if he had it made up. I don't know if it's just something he bought somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's a Barstool thing. I have no idea what it is. But just a great shirt and a guy putting it out there, saying and look, that's not easy for a guy like him to do. I mean, you're still playing the game, and yes, okay, you're in the National League Central, and you couldn't probably be further away from playing the Astros outside of interleague play, but kind of pretty smart though on his part too, considering especially this year, DHs, no pitchers would even hit anyway. And I don't even know if they're playing the Astros this year, mm-hmm. if we even get baseball this year. Mm. But he wouldn't face Astros pitching anyway. So I just love it. I mean, look, because here's, and a lot of people might say, well, why? Why do you love this so much? Like, this is yesterday's news. Maybe just move on. Well, if you know me, you know that moving on is not exactly my strength. But more importantly, the Astros still continue to deserve this. And let's not forget, as coronavirus has been awful, absolutely awful, what it's doing, what the amount of people it's killing, the people that are getting sick, hospitalizations being overrun, morons out there running around without masks on because they think it's some kind of breach of their freedom. But lost in this very tiny minor detail is how easy the Houston Astros are going to have gotten off this year and how easy they will get off.
Yeah. Because
honestly, while the rest of us probably hate coronavirus, some of the Houston Astros are probably like, this has been the best distraction ever. And also, we're not going to be going into stadiums with crowds that are going to, rain down on us, maybe even throw trash at us. Mm-hmm. Who knows? The Astros are going to get off light. And you know what? I think it's important, especially for players, to remind the Astros every once in a while, hey, this is the shit that you pulled a few years ago. You got yourself a trophy because of it, and nobody took it away from you. We could argue about that on another, we've gone down that road already, whether or not we think that title should have been stripped from them or not. But bottom line is, I have no problem with players, especially players, continuing to remind the Astros who they are and what they did, especially in a year like this when there will be no retribution from a pitching perspective. There'll be no policing of the game, especially and mostly because they will not be in front of crowds. And that's the worst part is you're not going to have fans there to berate this team the way they deserve to get berated into every visiting stadium that they go into. They deserved a chorus and a serenade of boos in every stadium that they went into, and they're not going to get it. And that pisses me off. Now, the only thing you can hope for is that fans like me will hold on to it for another year, because I could. Because if we get back to normal next year, let's say baseball is back and we can go into stadiums next year, and the Astros come into Yankee Stadium, oh yeah, I will have held on to that. I won't forget. I will not forget. But you know what? That year to maybe 2 years. Yeah, some people might move on.
I think a lot of people are going to move on.
I won't, but that's fine. I'll hold on to it. I just don't know, but that's why I like stuff like this.
Yeah.
Now, am I really going to go out and get a Trevor Bauer jersey? No, probably not. But maybe. I don't know. It would have to go on sale. But look, maybe I could get an Indians jersey since they're going to – maybe if there's a Trevor Bauer Indians jersey on clearance, I might be able to pull off one of those, especially since the Indians may be going away. And that in the business is what we call a segue. Yeah.
Damien says, your endurance for hate is supernatural. Speaking of supernatural.
By the way, hold on. That's a huge compliment. You may think you're insulting me, but you're not. It's one of my favorite qualities about myself.
And don't you love the show Supernatural?
It's literally our favorite show. Yeah. Favorite current show. Not all time.
It's one of your most endearing qualities.
That is my second favorite all-time show behind Smallville. Yeah.
It's one of your most endearing qualities, he says.
Thank you. I thank you. I appreciate that.
So, all right, yes.
It's like basically you saying you think I'm the most kind-hearted person ever. That's how I take that.
This is all right. So that segue was very good. The Indians, because the Indians and the Redskins are likely to change their names.
Yep.
I don't know why the likely's in there. This should be pretty in the times that we live in right now. If there was ever a likelihood to change it, I think now would be the time. But I don't think it's the likely is. It's like they are changing our names. It's like I don't know why they're so on the fence about it. Like
I don't either. First of all, I think with the Redskins, I would say it's more than likely, and I would say with the Indians, it's
probably likely.
Probably likely. Yeah. And why not?
Yes.
I mean, why not? Look, it's one of those things. It's an idea whose time has come. It's just time to The
Indians have such a storied pastime.
I mean, right? I mean, if anything, they should want to change their name. I mean, at least the Redskins, have, a pretty glamorous NFL royalty histoy with championships. And,
but they've definitely tarnished that over the last 20 years.
Yeah, no, right. You know what I don't understand? And I think we talked about this on the last show, and I want to bring up this analogy because I think it makes sense. It's like, to me, it's like the whole Trump with the masks thing, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're in Daniel Snyder's shoes, even if you despise the idea of changing the team name, which we all know he does because he's fought this for years, because this comes up every once in a while. And in typical NFL fashion, it kind of just gets swept under the rug until something else happens. And then it comes eventually back to the forefront, and it just back and forth, seesaw. We keep going because, eventually, Daniel Snyder just thinks, okay, everyone will forget about it. Well, guess what? They're not going to forget about this time. And he knows that. Mm-hmm. He knows that. All you got to do is like, because it has been now, what, a month and a half at least, right, since George Floyd's death. People are still protesting very strongly. Mm-hmm. Protests are still going on. It has not slowed. That train has not slowed down, and that's wonderful that that's taking place. And I think Daniel Snyder sees this, and he's like, okay, if I try to fight this time, it's going to be met with a lot more vitriol and a lot more backlash and a lot more hatred against me, and it's not going to go away, and it's just going to compound. And I think he realizes, okay, I can't outrun it this time.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is, if you're Daniel Snyder, even if you hate this idea of changing the name, and this is just like the Trump with the masks thing, dude, think of it just from your marketing department perspective. Mm-hmm. From the capital. Look, hey, right? We're the ultimate capitalists here, right? In the U.S., we're the ultimate capitalist country, right? This is an absolutely massive opportunity for you to capitalize on this marketing chance that you have and make a shit ton of money by changing the name of the team, putting out a ton of new product, merchandise, hats, naming rights, everything. And here's the other thing. You want to talk about turning a frown upside down? I got the ultimate one for you, and this has been bandied about a lot. But change the team name to the Washington Red Tails and honor the Tuskegee Airmen, the black Tuskegee Airmen. And you could really turn this into a win. I mean, how great would that be? Look, I'm not going to tell you what the logos should look like. You got your marketing department people to figure that out. But you can keep your colors. You can keep, I mean, this is like a no-brainer. I mean, come on, dude. Like, I get it. You know, I mean, in one sense, the Redskins obviously have a great tradition, a pretty great winning tradition. Mm-hmm. You know, won multiple Super Bowls. But look, again, this is an idea whose time has come. It's time to move on from the name and now use it. If nothing else, Daniel Snyder, use it as a marketing opportunity. Make some money off of it, dude. You will cash in. Think of all the. I mean, again,
he doesn't care about the money.
I know he doesn't because he's got more of it than he'll ever need. But man, you could foster a lot of goodwill.
He only cares about the money if he can penny pinch his players and stuff like that. And
I know. He's a terrible. He's a bad person. He's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. And look, this goes for the Indians too. Okay, same thing. You've got an opportunity here. All right, same kind of thing. You know, call it. You know, look, I haven't really thought about what the Indians could change their name to, but I mean, again, so what? Figure something out. It's just an opportunity to rebrand yourself.
Yeah.
Rebrand yourself. Rebrand your image. I mean, it's just time.
Word.
It's time. It's time for a lot of these teams to do this. And look, as a Chicago Blackhawks fan, I wonder if this eventually gets around to them too. You know?
Yeah.
Same thing. And I'm a Florida State Seminoles fan. I don't know. Where does it?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Pull the plug.
Yep.
Get it going. Let's go. I mean, it's definitely, we are really trying, you know, like with the Aunt Jemima, you know, syrup and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, they're trying to do right now. I mean, it's much later than it should have taken, but like, might as well just get it done.
Oh,
just do it.
You know what I see? You know what I see on Twitter all the time too?
You might actually be celebrated a little bit if you do it.
These are the angry Trumpers. Okay, They'll say like, this is like their canned response to stuff like this. They're like, imagine being offended by a name, and then the natural response to that is, imagine being offended by a name change. Like, why do you care? Like, right. Why is it that big of a deal? Mm-hmm. Why is it that big of a deal? Hey, listen, if somebody eventually, if for whatever reason, the Yankees, if the term Yankees became either if it became, racially offensive, if it somehow became offensive to a large number of people, and it was just not an appropriate name anymore, and someone said, hey, it's time to change the
And
name of
not
the
just
Yankees.
because we're winners.
Right. Not just because you hate us.
Because you ain't.
Then I would say, hey, then it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Look, and I'm telling you right here, I'm telling you now, as a Blackhawks and Seminoles fan, if those tribes find the usage of those names and their logos and those those icons offensive, then it's time to move on. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, it really is. I don't see why people get so worked up. And if somebody said, hey, you know what, the Miami Dolphins need to change their name because dolphin abuse is just running rampant in this country and there's just, SeaWorld is an abomination. Fine, fuck them, change it. I don't care. Change the fucking name of the Dolphins if you have to. Now, that's a ridiculous analogy because we're also talking about a mammal here and they swim in the ocean. Look, whatever. Okay, I'm just saying. What did he say? As a Connecticut native, I am offended by New York's appropriation of my heritage. Change it. There you go. So is there somebody's offended? So it's time to move on.
I do think he might be in the minority, though.
Maybe. I find the Red Sox offensive. Why do people get so caught up in a team name? It's just, and again, like, it's a good opportunity again, I think it's twofold for Daniel Snyder. Most importantly, doing the right thing and maybe building up some goodwill with the community. And two, dude, merchandising, baby.
Yogurt.
He said it. He had it.
He's smart.
He had a whole gift shop inside his, inside his little hideout there.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. So
they had the Spaceballs lunch boxes. They had the Spaceballs T-shirt. They had the Spaceballs poster. They had it all. Yeah, the little stuffed animals, the little yogurt stuffed animals. May the Schwartz be with you. I mean, come on. Merchandising, Daniel Snyder. You're a billionaire, dude. Come on. I'd be all over this. Spaceballs, the flamethrower. The kids love these. They love this one. It's true. I mean, dude, just go with the Washington Red. By the way, I don't know if you thought about it. That would be my vote. I would go with the Washington Red Tails. I thought of all the ones that I saw. I thought that was actually. I like the idea of honoring the Tuskegee Airmen too. I thought that was cool.
Cool. I like it. Get it done.
Next. What are we moving on to now?
Well, so we talked about that. We talked about that, and obviously, I actually just pulled something. Like I just randomly was opening up Windows here to share and stuff like that, and still Yahoo is the first thing that pops up on my radar when it's like the main page that opens up when I click a new window.
Yeah,
and it says. Donald Trump says Bubba Wallace's noose incident was a hoax. And then he has this, he tweeted on Monday morning calling the whole ordeal hoax that Wallace should apologize for it. Has Bubba Wallace apologized to all of those great NASCAR drivers and officials who came to his aid, stood by his side, and were willing to sacrifice everything for him, only to find out the whole thing was just another hoax? That and flag decision has caused lowest ratings ever. What's wrong with him? It's funny.
He can't even hide his racism anymore. He
not
can't
even
even hide it anymore.
It's not even that.
He's not even trying to hide it anymore.
I
don't know that he ever was.
I've had some discussions with some people and stuff like that, and there are apparently therapists out there that really think that he has some sort of dementia.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people think that. You could lump me into that group. I would agree with that. Look at him. And also there's a lot of I've seen the articles about his mannerisms and stuff like that that indicate that there's clearly something off here.
Yeah.
This is more than just an unhinged racist.
He's got something loose. But I will say, still very smart, because I guarantee, and this will lead right into this next topic, in the sorts side, how Kanye West is running for president in 2020.
We're nailing
through his hat ring. Now
we're hitting segues today really well.
That is
segue.
It was kind of a forced segue. I kind of threw that in there. I saw that thing and I was like, oh, this is a good segue.
It wasn't as good as mine, but it was good. It was still pretty good.
So it is, in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinion, a very interesting way, because Kanye West has been a Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one way that Trump could get back into the White House? Oh, an African-American running for president who happens to be for Trump and
who will steal
knows
votes
he's not going to win,
and who's going to steal votes,
but could pull votes from Biden and whoever
Yep.
Biden pulls. My
100%.
wife basically was like, we just need we need Biden to just get Kevin Hart or somebody like that to run with him. He needs a celebrity. Get Oprah, please, Oprah, somebody to run with him that can pull that popularity vote back. And it's so crazy that this is actually going on. And it is, Trump was like, hey, can you run? Just throw your name in the room, because I'm likely going to lose. Things aren't looking good.
Yeah.
And there's only one way for me to get this.
Yep. Now, I'm mildly worried about it.
I am naive I think I was like, there's no way. There is only a matter of 3 to 4 months before Kanye says something absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it won't matter though. We're in a time where you can say and do whatever you want, and it seems like, especially for the president, there's no consequences or repercussions.
Well, that's because he's already
other than taking shit on Twitter, but he doesn't.
He's
care
already
about
in.
that.
He had all those promises that he made before, and people were like, yeah, we're totally on board. Yeah, he's definitely going to do this. Definitely going to. And he's like, there's a running list of lies that he has not come close to doing. And it is, I think it's become more and more transparent where he was going to be ousted after this term. Yeah. I think Biden was the guy that we were like, yeah, he might not be perfect, but he's a hell of a lot better than what we got.
Yes.
And I think that people were going to run to the polls. I think that this is kind of a last ditch effort to kind of pull enough votes to kind of get him back in. But
yep,
one of those things, man.
Well, my reason for saying I'm naive
because I think he's just going to say something stupid. And I think that it's going to end up just totally wiping him out, and it's not going to make any difference. But I think there's a lot of people that are scared, and probably right. I don't know.
I am a little, just because 4 years ago, I would have looked at something like this and said, whatever, that doesn't mean anything. But we've seen what has transpired in these last 4 years. And now you have to sort of go under the, under the feeling that literally anything is possible. I mean, he could conceivably take votes from Biden.
Yeah.
But I think, luckily enough, I think a lot of the African-American community, he's like the hot potato that nobody wants, Kanye, so I really do think a lot of intelligent human beings out there will look at this and say, this is such a joke. This guy's a joke. It doesn't matter if they're black or not. Mm-hmm. They're just going to look at this and say, this guy's a complete and total joke. And you got to hope that sort of logic carries the day. Because if it doesn't, then yeah, we are in for another 4 years of this. And listen, I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I cannot imagine the state of this country after another 4 years of this. I can't. I don't even want to imagine it. I feel like it would be. Do you remember remember Back to the Future 2, when the timeline skewed and they, Marty goes back to 1985, but it's the 1985 where Biff is corrupt and married to his mother. I feel like it would be that. Mm-hmm. It would be that. He comes back. The world is literally burning. Everything is on fire. Neighborhoods are in shambles. It's just a total nightmare. I feel like that's what it would be. This would be like the alternate 1985, if he gets another 4 years at the end of it. I mean, just people running, Strickland running around with a shotgun, I mean, just the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. I feel like it'd be just a disaster. That's how bad I think this country would be. And by the way, I'm not joking. I really think it would be like that.
Oh yeah.
They're
probably not far off.
I think the inmates would be really running the asylum. There would just,
I mean, the guy wanted to take the military and take it against his own people.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
sure.
He's banana hammocks. Crazy banana hammock. Anywho, my mom had come on. Hi, Mom. She posted, people are saying that Kanye said it's because he has a new album coming out. And I would not, I don't, I think that is probably also, that is, and this is the scary thing. If it's a good album, that's going to make it even more relevant and take more votes away from Biden, which is scary. So if that's the case, it is a publicity stunt that could really, really hurt the Democratic side. Scary. Scary times.
Yeah.
Scary times in so many ways.
Yeah.
I just want 2020 to be over.
You know what? Scary times is a pretty good segue into the Karen of the week.
Okay. Since we're full of segues today, let's do it. Karen of the week.
Okay, so
wish I had a better.
It's not that late. I do think that this was last week, so I don't think I'm too far behind.
Wait, should we do it like this? Should we do something like Karen of the week?
Perfect, actually. It's perfect. That's the perfect one. And the reason why I am saying the scary was a good segue is because this week's Karen of the week is the woman simply known as Zombie Karen. And if you have not seen the highlights of Zombie Karen, a woman who was denied entry into a bar in Houma, Louisiana, drunken, she tried to get into this bar in Louisiana, without a mask. The bar owners locked the door, and she went full I Am Legend on them. She started ramming into the bar door, and then in like crazy zombie fashion started licking the glass door. And she, just like that, became Zombie Karen. She charges at the door, full speed, slams her body into it to try to get into the building multiple times, until eventually she hits so hard that she knocks herself out. And then eventually the cops came and arrested her. But all you got to do, go
There
on
was
Twitter,
definitely more than alcohol involved in that.
Go into Google. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. But just go and search.
Alcohol makes you do some stupid things, but
just do a generic search for Zombie Karen, and the videos pop right up.
That's terrifying.
Awesome.
Straight I Am Legend.
She might be. Well, actually, I'm plagiarizing because the bartender is the bar owner. I think is actually the guy who says like this is some straight up I Am Legend shit.
That's
like,
awesome. That's great recall right there. That's quick.
As great as the video is of her charging the bar, the better part is the guy's commentary as it's happening.
Oh.
Like, it's really good. But then her licking the door, I mean...
Good Lord.
It is...
Where are we?
Again, Trump's America is the alternate timeline. It's the alternate 1985. It really is. It's just... Well, I can read you, I think, a little bit of dialogue just from like the interaction. So the woman, as she's like charging the door, she says, "You think this is funny?" And the man recording it says, "I think this is very funny." And then she walks back, charges full speed, licks it, ends up knocking herself out. Later arrested. Yep. And then of course you get the people on Twitter. Well, she appears mentally ill, and the people inside are laughing at her and recording her. Yeah, because she's fucking insane. I would have been laughing too and recording her.
Drunk and on meth or something. Like she's definitely there's something wrong, something going on there.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you know what I will say though.
But whatever.
Speaking of bars, like it's one of those things. Like I was so happy that our leadership here, after like saying we're going to open up bars, like within a week was like, you know what, forget that.
Yeah.
Because that has got to be the dumbest thing on the face of the earth. If there is, granted, I know there are a lot of people who like to go to bars. I owned a nightclub for a while. My parents owned a nightclub for a long time. It was, in our family for 30 years. I would be so anti-opening during these times. Yeah. So anti-opening because I have seen firsthand the moronic things people do when they are drinking, whether it's going home with someone they might probably shouldn't have,
Yep.
or, starting fights or throwing beverages or just the dumbest things on the face of the earth, taking way too many shots, and having to you know, physically, it's just, it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
horrendous. Some of the things that people do when they are under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah.
And then if you add the other stuff that goes on, oh my God,
Mm.
please,
And then
please.
throw a pandemic into the middle of all that.
Yeah. But I mean, and the side of we don't need to wear masks and all that stuff. Like,
And that. Yeah.
it's just so dumb. It's like even in golf, like I don't understand the people who think it's cool to go in the parking lot afterwards and drink beer and talk to each other from like a foot away. I don't get it. Please just stay away from each other. Just do it.
Right.
Just do it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this virus took a perfectly healthy human. I think his name was Nick Cordero.
Cordero. Yep. 41 years old,
Broadway,
our age. Yep. Broadway
And-
star, in good shape, good physical condition,
and he had a 3-month battle and died just
And
like
lost.
yesterday.
Yep. Mhm.
41. I'm
41.
42 as of
Yep.
a couple days ago.
Yep. And I'm 40. I'll be 43 in less than a month. So,
And I am not a perfectly healthy person.
nope. Me neither.
Diabetes.
Yep.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
Yep.
Asthmatic.
And I looked, and I did research on him too, and there was nothing about underlying conditions. Not a thing. And I also saw this morning, I was watching CNN. They were doing like a mini tribute to certain people who had lost their lives. Not celebrities, just,
People.
regular people. And there was like I don't remember how old she was, 5, 6 years old, something like that. Maybe a little older. Just some young kid. Gone. No underlying conditions.
Be careful, man. Be careful when you're out there. Like, yeah. We know he had an amputation. Probably means he had diversion that hit his circulatory system and had a stroke. Yeah, they had to amputate part of his leg,
But it's a
so-
hoax. It's a hoax.
Yeah.
The whole thing's a hoax, right? Yeah, no, it's not real. It's not real.
Be
Nobody-
careful out there, please. If you're
This
out
is
there,
why- I'll tell
you're
you
in
what.
contact with people, wear a mask.
I have once
Wear a
never
mask.
doubted the fact that all the stuff that we do, which maybe some people might think is, well, I know some people would think it's an overreaction. I don't for a second think it is. In fact, now I think I need to try even harder than I already am to avoid any kind of contact with anybody. I mean, I'll tell you, I had to take my youngest to the doctor the other day. It was his 3-year checkup and he needed a shot. And so, of course I took him, and they had a great system, in place, which is, and actually we went there. So there is no waiting room. The waiting room is your car.
Mm-hmm.
They call you
Yep.
to come in. What was great was there was nobody else, no other patients anyway, in that facility. There was no one there, no one else in the building. It was just us. They walked us to the room. We didn't even touch any doors. Of course, I had my gloves on. He had his mask on, and we went through the, but I will tell you, I mean, I was in there for like 45 minutes, and the doctor had a mask on, and then the nurse, who we're talking to beforehand had a mask on. They all had masks on and gloves and all that. But I'll tell you, man, I was still nervous.
Yeah.
I was still really nervous.
Yeah. I went to,
I couldn't get out of there fast
we
enough.
took my kids. I mean, my kids.
And they did everything, they took our temperature and all that stuff, but
my kids go to the same
worried about
practice that my wife works at. And
Right. Yep.
they had to go and get a checkup and all that. And, they do the same thing. Like we wait in the car, they give us a call, that's something that they implemented like right out the gate. And they're only taking healthy patients.
Yep.
No
same.
sick. Yeah. No. So
They called us when I'm in the car and they asked us a bunch of pre-screening questions. They went to the point of like, do you even know anybody who might have or was even being tested for it? And I was like, no.
I always sing the praises of my wife and everything like that. Like how I think she's like one of the hardest workers I've ever met in my life, and she's just an incredibly savvy human being. And just she is everybody knows how
Yes,
much.
we know you all punted your coverage.
Yes,
Yeah, we're fully
I definitely. She is an amazing
you
human.
definitely outkicked your coverage. There,
And
buddy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I have always sung the praises, but like, I think that, in this circumstance, she has done it once again, because like her and her partners have done a great job of doing the due diligence to take care of their employees and take care of their patients and everything like that. And they had instituted that right out the gate. And immediately within hours after this whole thing started, like instituted, virtual visits and everything like that. Like they were right on top of things. And I'm very proud of them on how they did that. And it's one of those things that really goes unnoticed too, because this is one of those things that's going to take down a lot of practices that are like that. Because this is a time where, a lot of these doctors don't, get help from the stimulus, unless they were able to be quick into that small business loan. But even that doesn't help them because they make too much money for that. But so they're taking a big ding in their business.
Yeah.
And a lot of these practices are going to, unfortunately, be swallowed up by, the big companies like Yale and, all these, they're going to be swallowed up because they weren't able to do this.
I wonder how dentists are going to get through this, because I canceled the dentist appointment that I was supposed to have a couple of weeks ago, and I have no intention of going. Now, luckily, I do a really good job of taking care of my teeth, but I have zero intention of going into a dentist's office anytime soon.
My wife and son both went to the dentist.
Wow.
I'm gonna read Damien's comment in a few seconds. I put it up on the screen for a little bit. But I'm gonna read it in a few seconds. So they went to the dentist, and they were the first patients of the day. They saw the garb that they wear, and it's like, full, complete coverage, face sheet,
like hazmat.
It's like, so it's very, very well done. I don't know if every dentist is doing it like that, but that's how they're doing it. Yeah. And it was very impressive, and they felt very, very safe when they were there. So they got their teeth cleaning done. I haven't gotten mine done yet, and I'm gonna I do want to get mine done, but I'm I just a little bit more of a hypochondriac. So when it comes to my daughter, we are in a certain situation where she has to get a new pacemaker soon. And that's going to happen at the end of the year, most likely. So, and dental care is obviously, for people who have heart issues, very important.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
And we had to make the decision to get dental care done for her. And so I was very nervous about the spikes that are potentially going to happen after the 4th of July and the relaxing of codes and stuff like that. Like, I've noticed a couple of golf courses putting rakes out again and not having the things in the cups where you can just use your putter to get the ball out. Some of the courses are, because of phase 2, they're letting people ride in carts together. And that makes me nervous for golf. And will not ride a cart. I will walk, and I will be walking for the rest of the year, and maybe for even next year, until this vaccine is hopefully spread wide enough. Pfizer's making some good jumps, which is good. But I will say I had to make the decision, and this is a total sort stuff right here. And I had to make the decision with my wife my wife was kind of letting me kind of lead the charge here because of my fear. And I made the decision to take the chance now. This was a week ago while she was off, while numbers are very, very low. They're on the lowest they have been. Yep. So I took the chance and I said, let's go now. Because then we'll see where she's at after. But let's get this dental care done while the numbers are low. And took her, smart. Got it done, got her in, got her out, and things were good there. And my wife actually got her test done because she's an employee. She's does work with Yale a little bit. And because she's a healthcare worker, she got a test, and she got, it came back negative. And that was, I think, the day after her appointment for her dental appointment too. So that's even better. I think it was the day after.
Yep.
I think she was on Monday and her test was on Tuesday. So, so that's good. So there's that. It's a very, very interesting time. I am still, because I didn't get mine done before the 4th of July, I'm going to wait and see. Diabetic heart issues are one of our number one priority. I have to get my dental care.
Yep.
So I will do something very similar that my wife did, and I will try and get the first appointment. And if I can't, I will just keep waiting until I can get that appointment. But I have to wait until my wife has a day where I can go do that. So it'd probably be on like a Tuesday morning. I'll have to go and just drive up to our area, which is up closer towards you. And get my appointment and get in, get out, and keep fingers crossed for a short while.
I can't do it. I can't go to a dentist's office, and I'm not one to take my chances with my teeth, especially with some of the dental work that I had to have a handful of years ago. But I'm just going to be more diligent about flossing and brushing, and my water pick and all that stuff, and just keep doing it, because I can't. All of it. I just can't imagine. I even have a paste too that I put into my mouth on this side. It's like an enamel thing, because I had a filling there that was done earlier this year, and I do all that. I got my whole routine in the morning, but
it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out for everyone. I mean, it's just
I just can't. I am way, and I have no problem admitting my fears, and I am way too scared to go to a dentist's office right now. I'm probably too scared to go to a doctor's office too, and luckily I don't have my physical until January. But and who knows? I mean, who knows where we'll be then? I mean, January could be a whole hot petri dish of a mess going on. Especially if we're living in a world with flu, pneumonia, and COVID-19 happening simultaneously.
And
it's like, oh, God.
And people going back to school. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah,
I don't know if you got the letter, the letters from the schools and stuff like that. There was like a thing that came back, and it was like, on the top, it was like, be prepared to go back to school full time. And then when you started reading it, it was like, but we're gonna probably do social. We're gonna probably do distance learning. You got to be have your plans for that and this and that. Because I would be shocked.
Our kids,
I'd be shocked.
We have to. Our kids have.
I mean, Damien's a teacher. I would be shocked, because there are a lot of teachers that are over the age of 50, and they're in their 60s. I can't imagine the teachers union is going to even let them.
It just doesn't seem safe. I mean, just look, the distance learning thing. Was it ideal? No, but did it work? Yeah, it worked. It worked. My kids did it, and
is it hard? Yeah.
Yeah, there's some discipline involved in it. I mean, I know what that's all about. I work from home, so I have no problem with that. But I've been working from home for almost 15 years. Yeah. So I mean, it's not a, I can't fathom sending my children back to school. If they did, and we had no other choice, although you do have a choice because you can homeschool, but that's not something we want to do. I mean, I don't want my kids to lose the social aspect of school either.
That's the tough part. That's the toughest part.
Oh, it is. That is definitely. I don't
Especially
want my kids
as you get into your teenage years.
Yep.
As you get into your teenage years, social interaction is extremely important. It's a thing that you have to learn. Being on teams with other people, and having leaders, and learning roles and all that kind of stuff is very important. Super important.
It's just again, there's no way. Think about the setup of a school. Even with your best laid plans, where you maybe have half classrooms, maybe the days aren't as long, so you're not, there's no cafeteria time, kids wearing masks all the time, trying to keep the desks apart. How do you still stop kids from getting close to each other?
Well, not only that, there's hormones involved for one. And that's going to be tough. And then two, you can go to the other spectrum of it, where kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. Yeah. How on earth are you going to keep those kids with their mask on?
No, there's no way. And then you've got
you're not going to get any teaching done.
But then you've also got the common space of hallways too.
The kindergartens and the first graders and second graders, the whole time the teachers, and granted, it's going to get a little easier with a little bit older they get. The whole time, the kindergarten teacher is going to be like, put your mask back on, put your mask back on, Jimmy, put your mask back on, Sarah, put your mask back on. Hey, Claire, put your mask back on. Like, that's going to be the whole day.
Yeah.
Stop playing with your mask. Don't put your hands in your eyes. Don't do that.
Right. What teaching is going to get done?
Nothing.
And also, what kind of an environment is that for a kid to be in right now? I mean, that's got to be harrowing. I mean, you're going to be like, what's the concentration level even going to be like? You know? I mean,
yeah. So let's get into. So Damien said we're going to need a major celebrity to die of this before some people start taking it seriously. And if MLB's reported approach for 2020 is true, they might be the organization that proves that.
Another good segue into what is probably our final topic: should sports pack it in?
Yeah, I know. Damien also said he's been interviewing in schools all over the area, and none of them are planning on being on campus all year. Most are assuming at least 50% distance learning. And I think that's going to be the optimistic approach. And I think, they're going to leave it up to some parents to basically make their own decision. And they're going to have teachers that are there for distance learning only. And there's going to have teachers for in school. And it's going to be kind of I don't feel safe bringing my kids to school yet. That's for sure. But
and I'll tell you what, if in a scenario, if we had to, I'm never putting my kids on a bus. Like, they would be driven to school every day.
Driven and picked up, and
picked up,
and then bubble wrapped when they get in their car, and then sanitize the car when they get home.
Basically, Lysoled once they get into the car. Like, close your eyes. Here comes the Lysol.
I have no idea how I'd even handle that. All right, so let's get into the baseball side of things, or just sports in general. Should they pack it? I do want to talk about Tanaka at the end, briefly. Getting hit in the head, obviously coming back shortly after and being fine. But I do want to talk about that because I want to talk about the reaction from some of the Yankee players. And I think it was a bit of an overreaction against the media, but I also think that it could be handled better both sides. But so I want to get into that too. So he said, so let's get into the sports side of things. I am 100% thinking that all sports, except for maybe the PGA, should pack it in. I think there's way too much contact. I think football is, you get hit hard, there's fluid everywhere. Spit, tears, sweat, everything, everything everywhere when you get hit hard. You see it. You've seen it in the show. They show it, and you fit like that's one of those.
Just watch football in slow motion.
Yes, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Are you gonna just do flag football? Like, I don't know. And even that, people breathing hard. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I think football.
Dolphins have a lot of speedy guys. That might be their best chance of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they can put face shields and all. It doesn't matter.
Nah, that won't matter. There's just too much. Like you said, there's a lot of fluid.
A lot of fluids.
People
pee themselves. Like, it happens. You get hit hard, you're going to leak a little bit. Yeah. You get hit.
Especially if you're a little older.
Yeah.
You're a veteran in your mid to late 30s. Little pee going to come out.
Yeah. I know Brady's tight and all, but he's 43. He's going to be 43 this year.
He's tight.
He'll be leaking a little fluid. Gets hit hard.
Yeah, What and this goes into what I was saying earlier about why I'm disappointed in baseball, because baseball, of all the sports, should have been the one to be able to make
major sports. All the major sports, yeah.
All the major sports. Yeah. They should have been able to make this work. Just the setup of the field itself, the diamond, it's set for social distancing and physical separation.
For the most part,
other than when you're a first baseman holding a guy on first.
Catcher, batter, umpire.
Catcher, batter, umpire is your other one. But again, what good can really come of this? Your best case scenario is that you have a limited number of people that get infected, nobody dies, and you're able to go. But the problem is, even in that best case scenario where a couple of guys get infected, well, if one or two guys on your team gets infected, you basically have to quarantine your team
Yeah.
from each other.
So I was reading a tweet by, I think it was Jeff Passan, or however you pronounce his last name.
It's Passan. Yeah, that's right.
He was, I think it was him. And he came out and said, "Oh, only 1% of the teams like got tested positive. That's great." Like, I'm like, no, that's terrible. Because those 1% were integrated with everybody else.
Right.
That 1% is going to jump to 3. That 3 is going to jump to 9. And that 9 is going to jump to 20. Like, you can't, that's not good. No. That's bad.
Yeah, there's nothing good about it. I listen, I'm with you. Ultimately, I hate to say it. I mean, sports really
contact sports. Any sport that you will have to be in contact with another, like NBA, you have to be in contact.
Hockey,
baseball, there is contact because you do have to tag people. You do have to do that. Like, you have umpire, so you have the umpire, catcher, batter, proximity. They're all within 6 feet of each other. You have when you're in the dugout.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of proximity. There's a lot of. I mean, even if you have masks on, that's fine as long as you're wearing the masks. But there's no. You just can't do it.
I think baseball could have easily been the sport to have had the best chance to pull it off, and
but
you can already see. But you can already see it's not working. I mean, we haven't played games yet.
Yeah.
And guys are getting infected left and right.
They're also not isolating players from the outside world. So new infections are going to happen and brought to the clubhouse. Yeah.
And listen, somebody, whether it's a player or a clubhouse attendant or a coach, somebody will die. Mm-hmm. Somebody will die. And then
there's a lot of older people in baseball.
Yeah. Especially umpires. My goodness.
And I mean, older people, overweight people.
And have you seen some of these umpires? They are not in the best shape.
No, some of them, no.
Somebody will die. Guaranteed. If sports continue to resume.
I mean, Madden is not in great shape.
No.
He's got a little bit of a belly to him. He's old.
Somebody will perish. And then what are they going to do? What do you do then? You got to shut it down, obviously, but more importantly, then you're facing a massive backlash of why did you even bother to begin with? Mm-hmm. Is it really worth that? Is it worth that risk? It's not. It's not. I mean, look, are we all suffering through this without sports? Yeah, it sucks. It's a great distraction that I think it could have been helpful, but
I've been watching more golf than ever this year.
And we could listen. We could talk trash about players, about millionaires versus billionaires all we want. Ultimately, though, these are still all human beings, and we do still need to take care of each other. Yeah. Even if we have issues with these people sometimes. Listen, do I like the Houston Astros?
I don't side David Price very often. In anything, but he was very smart to say, nope, I'm taking a passage.
I'm going to sit this one out. Yep. Got no problem with that.
Worst case scenario for him, he comes back healthier.
Yeah. And look, do I like the Jose Altuves and the Justin Verlanders and the Alex Bregmans of the world? No, I can't stand them. Do I want any of them to get sick? No. No, I do not. No, I don't.
I mean,
I don't want to see anybody get
I know
sick.
that like there's like things that were out there, like Carlos Correa was like, basically telling his wife, like, please do not go to the salon. Right. I don't care if you go gray or whatever. Right. Like, please don't. Like, just you look beautiful. Don't worry about it. Like, just stay home.
And she's hot. She was like a former Miss Texas or something. So I don't think there's any gray happening there. But bottom line is, it's just this isn't even a risk versus reward argument because the reward is so small. Yeah. It's just the chances of reward are so small, and the risk is infinitely high. It's just not worth it. Now, the other problem, of course, the flip side of this is, well, if not now, when? Well, okay, when there's a vaccine. But then, of course, the other question is, well, how do we know how effective this vaccine will be? There's, especially early on, there still could be a lot of illness. I think the idea behind the vaccine is that it just needs to be able to get to a point where if you get it, it's not as severe. Right. So that it's essentially maybe like the flu.
It dumbs it down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay, where maybe as you would have been hospitalized before, now you just be sick at home for a few days. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I do hear like that. I mean, I follow one of the guys who's on the test subjects for Pfizer. He was like a CFO or something like that. And
I Google vaccine news every day.
And he said that, he was going through the trials and he definitely got the dose. And he was talking about the symptoms, and that's all the stuff that they have to regulate. They're doing some human trials, and he said
human trials are
he said they were he said it was pretty intense. He's like, definitely, if this is like the dosing that goes through, he's like, do not plan on working the next day. Like, you will not sleep because the fever is going to be terrible. And then the next day, but obviously that's something that they're trying to work out. They're trying to work out the proper dosing and all that kind of stuff. And they're figuring out, and they're going to a 30,000 human trial next. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
By the way, tip your cap to these people. These are heroes too. These people who are part of testing groups.
Yeah.
Tip of the cap to them, man. Mm-hmm. That's a ballsy thing. It really is. It's to be part of those trials.
Yeah.
That takes some cojones, man.
Because then, I don't know what the deal is, and how they're going to expose them to the coronavirus after, or if they're not going to, and they're just going to I don't know what the deal is with the trial, but obviously something like that has to happen. Like, how do you know it's going to work?
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just, to me, ultimately, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Just shut it down.
Shut it down for the year.
Shut it down, and let's try to revisit it next year.
It'll be another thing that happens in history that will just be like, a very interesting year. But just shut it down for the year, call it a day, and then move on to 2021 for sports. I think, except for golf. I think golf. Yeah, even golf is doing a pretty good job. I think they're slowly learning their lessons at the beginning where they were not doing a very good job of but they're getting better at it, which is good.
What works with golf is if one guy gets it, you could say, well, really then the only people that need to socially, him, the caddy, and maybe whoever he was playing with, if those people even got close to each other. So you can really control it and manage it in golf. So I would agree with you. Golf is fine.
I will say too, like so Nick Watney, who we talked about, who had it, he didn't have it, and then the next day he was not feeling good. But I will say, granted, this is not a proven way to kind of gauge if you're healthy or not. Yeah. But he had his Whoop. It's a Whoop device, which is, for some of you work out, so you might have heard of it. It's kind of like a Fitbit, an Apple Watch, something like that, but it doesn't have a face. It's just a device that you wear on your wrist, and it connects to your phone. Okay. And it keeps track of all your health, keeps track of your sleep and everything like that. But it does a better job than the Apple and the Fitbit and all that kind of stuff. It does a better job because that's all it's there for. Doesn't do anything with like a watch. Doesn't do anything with all these other apps that you have. It's strictly fitness related. So it does a better job. And Watney has been wearing it for a long time and keeping track of everything. And then his breath rate per minute was like 14 breaths per minute or something like that. And it jumped up that day. And he was like, this isn't right. I've always been like this. This has been my, and he went and got retested because of it. He asked to have a test, and he came back positive. So then the PGA went out and bought everyone on the tour a Whoop device. That's something that you can't really, you have to have. And the CEO of the company was like, this is something you have to have like long-term data of though. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm wearing it. Yesterday I was this, today I'm this. You have to have long-term data. Like he had been wearing it for months and months and months. And knew his ranges. Yeah. And things were weird. Yeah. And then he got tested. Yeah.
It's kind of like in my basement, I have a radon reader, right? And some days it's high. Yeah. But the long-term average is not. Yes. And it's like, you gotta,
it's just maybe you weren't down there for a while and the air settled a little bit. Like the air has to move and all that kind of stuff.
And on very cold days,
right,
it spikes. Yeah. So, that's, you got to be able to kind of read the tea leaves a little bit there. It's not always going to be, oh, wow, this one day is not good. I need to get out of here or something.
Yeah. And like, we had radon in our basement before we moved in, and we had them put the system in, but even the guy who did the inspection said, it's good that you're doing this because we don't know for a fact that it's not there, but he said, my guess is they weren't using their basement. Because if you don't use your basement and people aren't constantly moving around in your basement, the air can just stay and sit. Right. And then it just kind of, it gets more, it gets worse.
Yep.
He's like, so that's my guess. And I was like, yeah, that's probably the case. I don't think they ever went down there.
Yeah.
So.
Like my long-term average on it is like in the 3s, which is not great, but that's not dangerous level, because anything 4 or higher is generally where they, but I will actually probably still get one anyway, because I spend so much time down here that I think I'm going to get one. It's still a little higher than I would like it to be. I'd really just like it to be closer to 0. Yeah. And they're not much. They're like $1,500 to get a remediation
get a tax
system.
return or something like that.
Yeah. It's a healthy thing. So
when this vaccine is all situated and everything
like that. I haven't anybody at my house installing shit anytime soon. So I actually went and I had to buy a new dishwasher because I was like kind of crapped out. So I went and did that this weekend. But it was good though. Like I ordered it at Lowe's
and everything.
It was as contactless as possible, like
did you install it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
That's not that hard. It took me a little while, but mostly just fucking around with the hoses. But other than that, it was fine. But it's nice too. It's nice. It's a nice Bosch. I had to go a little off brand, which of course for my OCD drives me bonkers because all of our other stuff is LG.
Yeah.
But the dishwasher wet, and I couldn't find an LG that was like immediately available. Bosch, and I was like, I need some. Bosch is really good. But I was like, okay, I can deal with the Bosch one because there's not a Bosch logo on the front. It's just on the top. Mm-hmm. So you can't actually tell that these things like don't go together unless like you look really carefully. Yeah. So, and I got it. I installed it. I actually just did the first load today. So I'm going to go check and see how it came out. But it was nice and quiet.
We've had to buy Solid. 2 dishwashers in our, but not here, but like we bought one at our old house. That was a Bosch, and then we bought one here. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't a Bosch though, because I liked the Bosch, but it was a little louder than I liked. And I didn't want to spend the money for the Bosch. I just got a good one. I think it might. I can't remember what it was, but it was, and it's been great. It's super quiet too.
I had a Bosch washing machine. Oh man, that thing was a beast. Mm-hmm. It was heavy as hell, but that thing was awesome. Yeah. I sold it to somebody because we ended up getting like a new Samsung pair, and I sold it to a friend, and she still has it, and it still works fine.
That's awesome.
Beast. Bosch is legit.
They're good.
Yeah.
They are good. Do a good job. All right, so we talked about dishwashers.
I know we're heading out pretty soon. But real quick, I just wanted to mention, because I think I was threatened with physical violence if I did not mention this. If you're not paying attention to Jay Cutler's Instagram feed, especially his hunt for his chicken murderers that he has, which I think turned out to be raccoons. Yeah, I think they were raccoons. You need to check out Jay Cutler on Instagram. Divorce has really, really, he wears it well.
Yeah.
It's just been great. I'm not going to rip his ex-wife or anything, but man, Jay Cutler is just 10 times better as a human, just in general.
That's fantastic.
His Instagram follow is really fun. Like he put out like
I forgot to follow him last week. I'll do it right now.
He legitimately put out like a bounty on like the culprits that were murdering his chickens. Mm-hmm. And I do believe I looked at it like quickly this morning, but I do believe that it was I think the culprit was a raccoon family, but it was funny. Like on the 4th of July,
what's his Instagram?
Shows like, I think it's something like if Jay had Instagram or something like that.
That's him.
I think that's him. Yeah.
Cool.
But there was like he was showing some like black and white like night vision shots of like the raccoons on the 4th of July, and he's like, "It's the holiday, so I'll leave you guys alone today." But
it says, we'll be Cutler, back at. I don't have Instagram, but if I did, and now I do.
Yeah. I think that's right. Isn't that it? If Jay had Instagram, isn't that his? Yeah. It's fun. He's fun, man. He's a fun little follower. But so check that out. Right. Watch the constant timeline of him trying to track down his chicken murderers. He's funny. And he takes some like funny pictures too of like just him standing in the road, like clearly next to his house in his neighborhood. You can tell by how nice the houses are, and he's got like this big hats on. But like, he's just one of those guys that should be single and should really enjoy single life.
That's awesome.
He's just fun.
So we have that, and I just want to talk about real quick before on our way out. The whole Masahiro Tanaka got hit with a direct line drive. I mean,
thanks, Giancarlo.
Stanton off Stanton's bat. Stanton is definitely getting inundated with the curse talks even more. But I will say, Aaron Judge, Gleyber Torres, these are players on our team that I think that they went a little too hard after the media. The media went and they're showing the footage, and most places are saying, not suited for like people who are, queasy about this at all.
I actually did not watch it.
I saw it after the fact. I wanted to see what happened because I was getting texts left and right. Did you see what happened? I was in the middle of a golf course. Yeah. So I went and watched, and I was like, holy crap, he got hit in the side of the head. Like, that's terrible.
It was bad.
It looked horrible. It looked like he got, like, so he threw it and he was like facing this way. It looked like he got hit on the side. I was like, that's horrible.
Anything coming off Giancarlo Stanton's bat, anything that he connects with anyway.
Yeah, and it looked like it was a screamer. It looked terrible, but apparently he was fine. Like,
did he
no
have
concussion
a concussion
or anything? Like they were like basically released him, and he was like gone the next day, and he was like he came into the clubhouse like the next day. It was fine, walking around.
That's luck of the draw.
Yeah,
that's all.
Super lucky. But Aaron Judge and Gleyber Torres were particularly like, we don't like how all the media is just like posting this everywhere. Stop doing it. Like, it's a sports related topic. A professional athlete got hit in the head. It's not like they're glorifying it and being like, look at this. This is amazing. They're like, be careful when you're watching this. This is pretty, this could be pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not like blood was everywhere and everything like that, but yeah, it was brutal, but take it easy, take it down a notch. I know you're trying to protect your players, but it happens in sports. It sucks. It happened to Andy Pettit. Like it's one of those things that's terrifying, but at the same time, take it down a notch. Like, be like, you can say something like, I don't appreciate it that you have to do this, just thoughts and prayers out to Masa. This is a pretty brutal situation. Like,
sorry,
take it down a notch.
I was just looking at something on Twitter that made me laugh. I didn't mean to be. I want to see if I can find the video of it. Oh,
of
here
Mossy?
it is. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, doesn't look good.
No,
he collapsed right away. Boom, down on the ground, holding his head.
Oh, that's Stanton's reaction too.
Yeah, he looked like he got hit. Yeah, and like that's how you react too. Like, you hit a ball like that, you kind of like, oh my god, like.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the swing again. Oh, and Stanton is so strong that just like, and that ball looks like it maybe off the end of the bat a little. It was off the end of the bat a little bit, but even still. Oh, that's
coming back over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I can stop. Yeah. It's too much.
So I mean, it's one of those. It's like, it was bad, and Aaron Judge and Gleyber Torres. Those are two tweets that I noticed because I follow both of them. Relax, dude. Like, you're being a little too soft and a little too protective. It sucks.
So I do see though
the media has to do their job. It's like, I don't know if you saw in golf this past week too. Bryson DeChambeau hit a shot out of the bunker. It was a horrible shot. And then he slammed his club down in the bunker and like hit a bunch of sand everywhere. And like, man, I'm really getting sweaty. He started screaming at not screaming, but he went over and had a harsh talking to the camera guy who was following him. Yeah. Basically the whole way. Camera's like, guy's like, just doing my job, dude. Like, yeah. And he's like, you need to like give us a little bit of privacy and this. I'm like, no, you're a professional athlete. You should have a camera on you pretty much the whole time, especially if you're close to the lead. Yeah. You need to stop acting like a toddler. That's like, this is part of that job. And yes, the media does blow it out of proportion sometimes, but I don't think that this is a situation where they were blowing it out of proportion. It was a news story, a prominent figure in the Yankees, one of their most clutch pitchers, got hit in the head off of a guy who is a beast of a hitter.
Yep.
That's news. So take it down a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you go and read Aaron Judge's tweet after the fact, or Gleyber Torres. Like,
I'll take a look.
Kind of like that was a little soft, guys. Like, I understand what you're doing, but like, relax.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm just hoping that Damian says, he said the video was brutal. Yes, it was. I'm just hoping that Tanaka doesn't have lingering concussion symptoms. Makes me think of Brock Holt struggles with vertigo and migraines that never really went away. Yeah. Those are always, that's something that you have to watch out for. But it seems like Tanaka's fine.
The way the ball went off his head, it went straight up too. So you wonder if it didn't catch him flush on the side.
No, I don't think it did.
Got him a little towards the top so that it went up. I mean, but even still, I mean, who gives a yeah.
You could tell he was in pain. Like,
I mean, it was not a glancing blow by any stretch. It was pretty flush, but yeah, I don't know.
That's part of baseball, and it sucks, and the media has to cover it. So I don't know.
Hey, listen, if you play baseball, you've been hit by one.
And I don't usually side with the media.
I've not. I mean, I was never a pitcher, so I've never been hit with a comebacker like that. But I've been hit.
Thankfully,
with
I
balls.
never either. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got hit. Got hit a few
The
times.
place that I got hit and it hurt the most was in my back.
Yeah.
Like in my, like, not just like in the back, but like close to the spine issue. Like, that hurts.
Yeah.
Whew.
The worst I ever got hurt was when because I played first base, so I was, it was in between innings, and I'm throwing out, doing the tosses, right, to the guys at third and short and second. And one of them came back, and for whatever reason, I don't know, like I was just not paying attention on the throwback, and it just hit me square in the face. I was like, oh! And I remember the coaches coming out, like, are you okay? And I didn't fall down, but I was like, oh. They're like, you're all right, you got to come out. I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm like, I just need to shake this off. But holy shit, did it hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hit by 90 plus fastballs in my ribs, and it does knock the wind out of you. It does.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of like, and it leaves a nice bruise and soreness there for days.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things. But like the one that I got, that was the worst that I got hit with, was I was sliding into third on a bunt, right?
Yep.
And the bunt went too far to the pitcher.
Yep.
But I was going to get there. I got to third, no problem.
Yep.
But the pitcher took it, and he was a sidearmer as it is, and he took it and threw it, and it went right and hit me right in the eye.
Ooh.
And I had to go to the hospital. Eyes swollen shut.
Oh.
But I played the next day.
Yeah.
Right eye dominant.
Yeah.
I was the DH. Opened up my stance a little bit more. Faced out my face this way. 2 for 3 next day.
There you go.
I remember that clear as day. I don't remember every day. But those days, the redemptions come back. And 2 for 3, a couple line drives up the middle. Wasn't able to like hit like I normally did because I had a little different stance. But
yeah,
he got hit in the left eye.
Hey, Damian, remember when we beat Marty at basketball? That's a nice little random inside there. So this was great.
He's a big dude. Is that Marty? Like,
yeah, Marty Lang. Yeah, all 6'8" of them. I want to tell this story very quickly. So this was in the summer. It was in between, school. Yeah, I don't remember what year. But, my neighbor had a kind of sort of a full court basketball court.
That's sick.
On his side yard. It was awesome, dude. That's actually how I lost a lot of weight. I played basketball constantly. I just ran up and down that court, layups all day, like
even
for hours.
As an adult now.
And so we used to play Marty 2-on-1, and he would win a lot.
Dude,
he's
tall.
And so Damien and I played him. Now, one of the things, so again, 2-on-1. There's no shame, by the way, in two guys beating one.
Like Homer Simpson.
Okay. Oh, he Homer Simpsoned into the bushes, not backwards, forwards, but then he disappeared. It was like Field of Dreams. Like he walked into the corn stalks and disappeared for like hours, and we didn't know where he went. And he eventually resurfaced, but we were just like, where's he going? He was livid. Marty, very competitive guy, and I respect that immensely, but wow, he did not like losing.
Yeah,
he did not like, even in a 2-on-1. By the way, who would ever get upset losing 2-on-1? Of course you're going to lose 2-on-1. It's just the odds are against you.
I'd be ticked.
But Marty was obviously kind of probably as close to his playing prime as possible at that age. Tall, thin, Marty was in really good shape then, I think, at that point. And Damon and I beat him. and there were like no words, just walked off like into the bushes and was gone. It was reverse Homer Simpson. He was gone, and we did not see him for a little while. And then he eventually came out once he shook it off.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, that was great. And I just remember Davey and I like, where's he going?
Yeah. That's why I want to play. I want to play tournaments in golf so bad. Like, and like a lot of tournaments are getting canceled and stuff. And I'm for good reason. But like, I want to play competitive golf so bad. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I miss playing basketball too.
Me too. I can remember every time I beat him one-on-one because I can count them on one hand. And yes, he got pissed.
Yeah, I mean, come on. No, we're going to beat him one-on-one. I mean, the guy played, all the way up to college. And
I've never met Damian face-to-face, but he doesn't look small either. Is he
tall?
At
the time, Damian was very thin.
Yeah, but I mean, is he tall? I don't know. Is he tall?
Damian's
I don't know.
Pretty tall.
Yeah.
Damian, you're about 6 feet, right? I think Damian's a little taller than me because I'm 5'11", and I was pretty sure he was taller than me.
Yeah. I'm on the nose. Six on the nose.
Yeah. Damian, I think, is right in that range. So, but yeah, I mean, it was that was such a fun memory. Marty,
that is hilarious.
Marty's great.
That's fantastic.
Oh man.
I usually don't let people know that I'm that super ticked. It's more I beat myself up afterwards.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
I've been 6 feet since I was 12. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get in the car and like.
Yeah.
Go home and I got to practice. I got to do this.
Yeah.
I get ticked. Or I will let it know. Like I've gotten better as I've gotten older. I kind of like am able to hold it in a little bit more.
I've got a couple of really fun like basketball memories. And so there was one. So Damien would remember this too. I think he might remember this. Mm-hmm. Look, I have maybe 2 glory basketball moments that I can ever really recall. I don't really count the Marty one. It was 2-on-1, whatever. Yeah. That was more of, I think, a bigger victory for him than me. But there was one we used to play where, oh God, I can't remember the name of the condominium site where Marty lived and where we would play basketball a lot. Damien might be able to remember. It was in Newington. But we used to play there a lot. Full court, 5-on-5. And I remember one year, I was really fat, and I got dunked on hard by this guy. I can't remember his name.
Posterized?
I really got heavily postered, and I mean, it was bad. I was fat. I was a fat kid. I played, but Glen Oaks, thank you. And maybe, Damien, if you remember this, tell me. But you might not, because you might not remember this because this is something that lives in my head more so than it would yours. I don't know if you remember either of these moments. Mm-hmm. But I just remember, and these rims were shorter. These were not, thank you. Yeah, there it is. The 9.5 foot. So he's like corroborating the story as I'm telling it, which is great. Yes, one of the hoops was shorter. And actually, at 9.5 feet, I mean, as a fat kid, I could not dunk on it. But I will never forget that kid dunking on me and that feeling. And just everybody, going, oh, and then, of course, the verbal abuse that you take, right? Yeah, yes, that
gif.
Yes, that gif. Yeah, oh, it was that. But I held on to that. And I think it was a year or so later, this was... and I had gotten into ridiculous shape. Yeah. I got skinny. I got down to about $150, and I was significantly faster. And I will never forget playing on that same court like a year later. Not all the same people, but that kid was there, and I got revenge. Not only was I hitting like every shot, because I was actually pretty decent at basketball for a little while, and I remember I threw a dunk down, and it was not over him. Mm-hmm. I don't think I posterized him by any stretch, but I did get it back, and he was on that court, and I don't think he remembers that because he probably wouldn't have even recognized me because it was a completely different person. But I got up, and I remember Marty playing with me, and I will never forget Marty saying to me, he's like, dude, when you were in the air, he's like, you actually, because I had it one-handed, and he's like, you actually even kind of double pumped before you threw it down. And I remember, I will never forget the ethereal scream that I let out when I landed after that dunk. Just that, the two arms to your side, just like, where you're just like pumping your arms. I will never forget that. That's like my youth glory sports moment.
I think it'd have been funny if you got dunked on again.
Yeah.
It'd have been a better story.
Yeah.
I went down there. I was in shape. I was raining buckets, and then he dunked on me again.
Yeah. I will just, but I remember, because I had that moment of being that helpless fat kid getting jammed on and thinking like, I need to come back from this, but it's not going to be today. It's going to take some time. And I held on to that. So that goes back to Damien's comment earlier about me being able to hold on to shit. Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. I can hold a grudge for a good while. It's nice.
The other really great basketball memory I had was I used to play, there was also a place in Rocky Hill we used to play under the lights that was really awesome. We played 5-on-5. And I remember I took a basketball off the nose, broke my nose, blood's pouring out all over my shirt. And I got mad, and I kept playing, and I hit every fucking shot. Did not miss. I was off balance. Everything I threw up went in. Everything. My defense got better. I just like a light switched on. I was so pissed. I don't really know who I was mad at. I mean, shit happens, right? Somebody throws a basketball at you, it hits you in the nose. Okay. But I just remember like the clicking sound my nose made and then just the blood pouring out. And I just remember they had a water fountain over there. So I went to the water fountain and I flushed out as much as I could. When the bleeding stopped, blood all over my shirt. And then I just went on a complete rampage and hit every shot in sight. And I had like that Jordan-esque look in my eyes, that laser vision. No. Like that assassin laser vision. Listen, we've all played sports and been in the zone, right? You've all had that moment. I've had a few of them, and they're great. And the great part is you remember them. Mm-hmm. And I actually have a similar story to like the Damien beating Marty. It was me beating my brother, but it was 2-on-2. So it was like me and one of my friends versus one of my friends and my brother. And I will never forget. I hit this. This was in that same basketball court, my neighbor's basketball court. I hit this fadeaway jump shot falling out of bounds, nothing but net to win the game. And I went ballistic. And my friends and my brother were all laughing at me. But I was just like, I finally beat him. Because my brother was, he's stronger than me. And,
I used to, dude. I used like playing. I remember like that. I used to. I didn't lose a lot.
Now I got Bruce Springsteen's like glory days playing in my head.
I didn't lose a lot. Though. So like I when I would play against people and then I would win, I would like get to the point, like I would be like goofing around because I'm just kind of a goofball as it is. So I would like do like stupid shit, like playing wiffle ball. Like I would hit home runs and I would like run around the bases even though there was no bases. Yeah. And I would be like running, like running around the bases and stuff like that. And like my friends would be like, "You do that again, I'm leaving. I'm just leaving." And then sure enough, I would like hit a couple and then I'd wait for it and then boom, hit a big one and I would like, I can't hold it in.
We used to when I was a kid after school, like junior middle school, something like that. So I would be like, my parents both worked. So I would actually get off the bus at a friend's house. Cause I was like babysat by them until like I was old enough to be able to go home on my own. Right. But we used to play basketball. They had this like perfect yard set up for it, their side yard. Mm-hmm. And we used to play baseball but we played with a tennis ball. And everybody had wiffle balls, and the wiffle balls all were duct taped at the end, like some of them pretty high. And I remember we used to hit some absolute bombs, just some tennis ball bombs that they would just go deep into the sky and like really high. I mean, just moonshots. And boy, we used to admire some of those, man. That is some old school, man. Wrap up a wiffle ball bat with duct tape on the end, real thick, and then just whale tennis balls. Oh my god. Oh shit, those are some fun days.
All right. That's pretty much it for our show today. Follow the show on Facebook at facebook.com/ShaneandtheBryman, Twitter at ShaneandBryman, and you can follow me on Twitter at EinhornersFinkel and Instagram at Happy McAvoy.
I don't really want you following me on Instagram, but you can follow me on Twitter at _.
Follow Jay Cutler. You can promote Jay Cutler.
Yeah, if Jay had Instagram, I believe is his handle or something like that. But yeah, so yeah, enjoy Jay Cutler.
Cool.
This was a good, fun show. Got some time. I took today off of work, so no, I gave myself a nice little 4-day wraparound weekend. Now I'm gonna go have some lunch and jump in the pool.
Cool. No doubt.
Throw the kids in the pool, and it's hot today.
It's a good one.
It was hot. I had to go to the dump this morning at like 8, and I walked out, and it was like, oof, gross. This is a great pool day.
That's not a good day to want to go to the dump when it's nice and steamy out.
Oh, it did it. It stunk there today too. Oh, and I've got the mask on too, and it still sneaks in there. It gets it through the sides, and they're just like,
I could taste it.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw open my mask. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna slowly leak out the sides.
This is
so gross. All right, thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll see you again, maybe Friday, maybe Monday. Most likely Monday.
Yeah, we've reached the end of the program, and to quote the great Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. So here we are.
Indeed. And then maybe Friday. Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see what's going on. See what's going on in the world. It's a crazy world. Alternate universe.
A lot could happen in 4 days. A lot.
Lots of Karens out there. Zombie Karen.
Yeah, go check
her out.
I
Am Legend.
She's
crazy. I'm gonna I'll have to check that out. That's crazy.
She could be my favorite one so far. I'm not sure. It's tough. Right. It's tough.
Bye. I gotta go change my shirt. It's like I got done with working out. So sweaty.
Yeah, you're sweaty.
It gets to be like 85 degrees in my room.
Well, your other problem is that you wear a lot of shirts that accentuate the sweat too.
Well, yeah.
See, like that's why I wear black.
Well, I don't care. So like,
yeah, I don't care.
I don't care.
Care about my
I'm sweating. I don't put deodorant on unless I'm leaving the house. So like,
yeah, I generally don't do that either, unless my stink is so bad that I just can't stand the smell of myself.
Yeah,
in which case, just take a fucking shower.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm in my office with the door shut. It's like we keep the house hot anyway, like 78 degrees, and so it gets like 85 in here. I'm sweating. That's just how it goes.
We're the only show that has an outro song that like literally just becomes a segment of the show because it just goes on for so long.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah. We're like those people who don't know how to say goodbye on the phone. No, you say bye first.
That's me. I'm notorious like that.
You say bye.
Yeah.
No, you. No, I want you to hear. I want to hear it from you first. No, you say it. Okay, I'll say bye.
We started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine over again. I started watching starting from number 1. That cast has chemistry right out the gate. I forgot about that. They're so good right out the start.
It's a
great show.
It's an all-time show. I'm just gonna say
it's a great show.
It is. It just is.
All right.
It's perfectly cast. Beautiful dialogue. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bye. Oh, we got to do the wheel. I wanted to do the wheel. Let's do the wheel again.
We haven't done the wheel.
We haven't done the wheel in a long time. So next show, when we do the wheel, let's see what we got here. Wheel of sorts. I'm gonna so we can get something fun on the show, no matter what. Yeah. See what we got here. It is what sport would be the sport? No. What? Here we go. Can't see it. It's so small.
That's what she said.
What sport would be the funniest to add mandatory alcohol to? So the participants have to drink alcohol. What sport? We'll talk about it on Friday or Monday, whenever we come back. I'm going to
have to really think about that.
That's a good one. I like that. That could be fun. Any sport. Doesn't have to be in the major sports.
So sporting and drinking. Which one would be the best?
The players.
Okay. Don't say NASCAR.
No.
Okay.
You don't want people to die.
Yeah, no. Exclude NASCAR. We want this to be funny, not an absolute wreck.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It says funniest, not dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
They're all going to be a little more dangerous.
Because we know NASCAR would win if that was the case. That would definitely be the most dangerous.
Yes.
Let's exclude them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I
I'm
like
gonna
it.
have to think
I
about
like
that.
All right.
Because I could see how it would be funny in a lot of sports.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Now we have to come up with something else to add to replace this in the wheel
Okay.
of sorts.
What sport would be most fun to add alcohol?
All right.
All right.
Bye.